Well, first of all, Julie, thank you. That was
Oh,
phenomenal.
good.
Wow. I always learn so much from you. And I'm still learning social media, even though it's been many years. So thank you for all your incredible tips. I've always been an in-person kind of gal and creating community and bringing people together. And even through the pandemic, it really forced me to pull things online, and we've perfected using Zoom and online meetings. And so that's what Gigi and I will share with you right now. I've been in the industry for over 15 years, and I always learn to just get people in my living room and have a conversation. And it doesn't have to be a big event and pulling a lot of things together, but it could be just a couple of people and in your living room, and you're sharing your experience, your testimonial, or what you're excited about. And in that, that can just be the very beginning. So if you've just got a couple of people, invite them over, have a conversation, drop a tablet in some water, create an experience. And that alone will then create some excitement with them. And what we really found is what can happen is it starts to grow tenfold. So the next time we ask those few people who came to my living room to invite two people with them, and then eventually the numbers double and double and double. And in that, what I have found is that I start meeting people that I didn't know. So I've always started building with people that I was meeting, not people that I knew. And early days in marketing, I was always told to look, you're going to build your business with people that you're going to meet, not necessarily the people that you know. And I made thousands of dollars by looking through my team and meeting their people and then their people and then their people. And I used to say that I ran an orphanage because we would call people that would come into our businesses that the people that brought them in all of a sudden would disappear. So they were there all by themselves and nobody to support them. So then I would just put my hand up and be like, can I help you? Can I support you? And in helping them growing their business, it benefited all of us. And so I had no idea there was a term for it called taprooting. I've recently just learned that term. But that's how we build, is just meeting people through people, through people, through people. So we can meet more people, and in that we'll find the people that we connect with, or maybe the person that brought them in, they're not having a strong connection, but they connect with me. Or I've brought somebody in who's not necessarily connecting with me, and I can introduce them to somebody in our community that they would resonate with. And we start bringing people together, people who have common ground, people who have common interests, have common backgrounds, experience. And this is where the community really starts to build. And people love community. I've had people that have joined my businesses that just come to events because they loved the events. They never really did build or do a lot, but they love coming together in community. And what this also does is for the people who are brand new, it's hard to know what to really say. So if you can just be very good at inviting people to these events and hosting events, whether they're in person or online, I can tell my brand new people to just invite the people that they want to introduce this to, and I will do the rest. We end up doing all the talking. They're getting a third party validation because they're hearing it from someone other than them. So sometimes it's really difficult to talk to the family members or the people who are really close to you, your BFFs, and they aren't trusting you because you're new. But when you can introduce them to someone who's done this before or has something in common with them, whether it's they're both moms or they're both nurses or they have something in common, then they become very interested in hearing what you have to say. So the first thing we do is invite people over. But if you're wanting to build globally, we can't always have people over into an in-person event. So this is where Zoom comes in. So we've had a lot of success with our new people. When they do decide that they want to start sharing this with other people, we offer them to do an overview on Zoom. So all they have to do is invite people to a Zoom meeting. We create a tile, an invitation. We even help them with the languaging of how to invite people. And all they have to do is show up and we do the rest. And in 30 minutes, we can go through an overview of what we're doing, who we are, the science behind the product, whatever it is that the information that they need to become curious, to learn more and to get started. And then usually we record that. With that recording, now we have a usable tool for that person who's launching their business that they can now send to people in email or in text with them sharing their personal testimonial, and then handing it over to us to do the rest. So all I really need to become good at is sharing their story or their experience, and then we can answer the questions at the end. We have a Q&A, so if people want to open up the Zoom to questions, we can answer those questions for them. And I've even done Zooms for people who just live in the next town over for me. So it's rather than driving an hour to be in their living room, they've been inviting people into their living rooms, and then I Zoom in. And it's been so much fun to go through our overview and then sit on Zoom and with them all in the living room, and they're gathering in community, and I get to answer their questions from afar. And what Gigi and I are so excited about is coming to Portugal and experiencing what we're going to get in Portugal. Not everyone can be in Portugal, but we know that we're going to be infused with magnificence in Portugal, and we're going to bring that back to Canada, and it's going to be in us. And I know it's just going to diffuse into whoever is around us. So we've already planned out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 8, almost 10 in-person events. We're going on a road show and we're going to be going all across British Columbia. We've even got an event called the Pink Skirt, which is a huge event for women entrepreneurs here in my town in Kelowna. We have a vendor booth there, and we're following that up with an event so that we can invite people to the beach where they can just come and learn more about everything that we are doing. So it really is about building in, meeting people, inviting them to an event, and then asking them, who do you know? Can you invite them to the next event? And we're just going to put out the dates and where we're going to be and invite people to come and get the information. And hopefully they'll bring the people that they know. And we're just going to infuse this all the way across the province, well, across the country, because then you head off to Toronto and it's just going to keep going and going and going.
I love that. And Jen, you're so good at that. And there's a key there in what you're talking about. And Jen is extremely beautiful and humble, but she grew a massive organization in her last build. And she was known as the person who brought people together, a gatherer of people. And what she said is, we're going to do event to event to event to event. And that doesn't mean it has to be complicated. When you're infused with an energy, like maybe even after this Zoom, this is an event. This is an event right now. What are the chances of you taking something that you learn from here and implementing it, whether it's you booking your own event or doing your social media post? Because I looked up something, because this is really important. The behavioral pattern researchers observed that your peak emotional activation and belief is 0 to 72 hours after an event. Okay. Between 1 to 2 weeks, motivation drops sharply if there's been no integration, right? Called the learning spiral. And then after 30 days, many people return to their baseline habits unless they've changed environment, relationships, daily behaviors, or have an accountability system. So imagine something like Portugal, where we're all fired up. And the moment you leave the door, you start doubting yourself. You start wondering if the excitement was real. But what if you had an event planned right after? And that's really what we're doing, is we're creating, Hayden and I are going all over the world. And it really started with Jen's idea to do a roadshow. So we're going to bring that energy to the people there. But guess what happens? When we do those 10 events, there's going to be at least one person at each event who then want to do their own launch party in their living room. So we're going from Portugal event to a hosted event to then an online event. And then one of their people is going to want to do the same. And this is how duplication works. This is how it gets very exciting, because we all know that energy is caught, not taught. Julie's posts create an emotional reaction. In-person events, it doesn't have to be fancy. Last weekend, we had 25 people at a coffee shop where everyone ordered their own coffee, and we spoke for 45 minutes. We didn't have to do anything other than hold the container with our energy, and it works. It is so powerful. So what if you're not going to Portugal? Okay, what if there is a life event that you cannot be there? Because here's what I believe. You can build this event, this business, in any way, shape, or form. There is no one way, except being infused at the main event. And so if for any reason Portugal is inaccessible to you, make a commitment right now that you will be at the next main event, because there is nothing that will replace being at those events at all. Then if you can't be there, Can you team up with one of the leaders that are going to be there and commit to doing your own launch event and allow one of the leaders that's in Portugal to speak on your Zoom? What if you guaranteed that you were going to aim to have 25 people or 5 people or 2 people, because it's one call that changes it all, and you invite people onto that Zoom and have an infusion from someone at the event? This is how we go event to event and come together as a collaborative community to share that infusion. And I will say there's nothing that replaces in-person events. You have 1 person or 2 people in your home to talk, and you pull up the same slide deck. We do not do anything fancy. Jen and I are going to the beach one day. I think Tina's having us at a horse stable one day. It's like, bring people into your world. That's what people want. People want to know the inner world of you as a leader. And so that's what we're doing. And I really believe that if we can strike our confidence right after an event, like if you're nervous to do your reach outs, do it right after the corporate call with that energy. If you're nervous about having a 3-way call, do it immediately after you're on the phone with a team member. Like, use that energy and infuse it into everything you do. And I truly believe, like Jen and I said, we're so excited because it's so much fun. It is so much fun. And we will give you our dates and where we're at. And if you have people that you want to invite into them, please, please do, because we're all one team. And just get people in the room and let the rest work itself out. So that's all I got.